Hello, we're checking out futurology, so let's see what the future holds. 151 million people affected. New study reveals that leaded gas permanently damaged American mental health. Oh, mental health? I thought it was something serious, like the money of the rich. Zero consequences for the offenders of this is insane tragedy. Is there any money in that? And for whom? What do you mean? There was a tremendous amount of money made. As long as the CEO can retire in southern France, that's all that matters. Tokyo is giving its employees a 4-day workweek to try to boost record low fertility. Japan faces a declining fertility rate and at just 758,631 births last year, a record low. Okay, this is a good thing, but this just really goes to show that the powers of be are just gonna take as much as they can from you. So, 4D? Yeah, but will that really help? Because assuming you don't have the finances otherwise to have a kid, I guess one extra day is helpful. Assuming that, I guess you might make the same amount of money. Like, are you working? Does this mean that you were working less hours? Nah, but who knows? You might be forced to work anyway, because if they can make one guy work 5 days and one guy works 4 days, then or what you might see is that they're just gonna outsource the work, right? It's crazy how developed nations made life so miserable. People have stopped reproducing. They can't get enough of their greed. We're having degrowth. Well, maybe extinction. 1.6 million people died in Japan last year. 2 corpses for every baby's vault. 4-day workweek might ease stress, but maybe affordable childcare and better parental leave policies should be next on the agenda. And also, the housing costs are huge barriers to starting families. Yeah. I mean, if they had the money, they don't need work, right? It's like you could just buy the Bitcoin and like retire, right? I mean, obviously, the government would not want that. As a Japanese, I want to say people don't criticize the system too much. I mean, it seems like a positive one. Yes, it's clearly too late, and yes, it may not have any positive effect on the declining fertility rate. It may also be too idealistic, with only a tiny fraction of companies or organizations able to implement it. But it's still a small step forward for a country for having one of the worst working environments. Famous for corrosion and high self-termination rates. Fertility rate aside, for someone living in this reality, any effort to ease working conditions and break free from the illusion that overworking equals success is a welcome change. Yeah, but overworking equals success is kind of the story that told to the workers. Spain runs out of children. There are 80,000 fewer than 2023. Still not running out of children, but there's a clear trend here. And this could make people more competitive or apathetic. Because suppose you can't have a life, then what are you gonna do? That's why you always pick up a few extra at the store, even if you're not hungry right then. Okay. Reddit loves their jokes. Okay, let's go back. Klarna CEO says the company stopped hiring a year ago because AI can already do all of the jobs. Okay, so they are super easy to automate. That's what the guy's saying. Huh? We're just pretending words no longer mean things? Yeah, that they are advertising open positions may not mean much though. And in 10 years, when no junior developers have been able to get jobs, they can't get a job right now. What are you talking about? The tech industry will look confused and ask why there is a shortage of skilled labor. People are just expected to do hobby projects on a professional level until they are needed, I guess. Now, how the game works is that, your job is no longer needed. And then you're asked, why are you still alive? Meta wants to fill its social platforms with AI-generated bots. Platform decay is coming to social media and fast. Yeah, but like... I mean, this is gonna happen to Meta, even if they don't do it themselves. So, I mean, they kind of suspect that their users will go there and try to make money with bots or try to promote their stuff with bots. So, Meta is gonna beat them to the punch, and yeah, I'm not sure they're gonna win there. It's really hard to say. Because what companies try to do right now, websites, that they try to make it harder to register, try to make it possibly hard to post. And you see this constantly if you go online, and it's kind of hard to say, but because it's not always obvious, but many times it's obvious that like the marketers are all over it, and you see people are just like pushing their things, and you don't know who's the bot, but you know that there are a lot of them. You can literally go into a topic and it looks possibly legit, and the entirety just can be just bots, right? You can see the opposing voices, you see the popular voices, and all of it can be fake. I'm not saying that it is, but you don't know. At least before, it would have taken some effort to make this a thing. Now, you can just have millions, possibly, but at least in the thousands of bots who serve your bidding, I guess. But what is the point in this? Because suppose you are gonna consume AI content, right? Might as well just create it yourself, or at least heavily curate what you want to see. Because why would you go to Meta, where you just push things that they want you to see, and they're gonna show you ads too? What's the point? Leaked documents show OpenAI has a very clear definition of AGI. AGI will be achieved once OpenAI has developed an AI system that can generate at least 100 billion in profits. What the heck? This reads like a joke, but is it? You want to be a real boy? Make daddy $100 billion, then you can be a real boy. Oh my god, OpenAI is getting the same treatment as like being a guy. What is your purpose? Your purpose is to make money. So the measure of intellect is money generation, yeah? That's capitalism, baby. How much money did Einstein make with his theories of relativity, research into photoelectric effect and other things? What, less than $1 billion? What a moron. Way to go, Einstein. It makes sense if AGI stands for automatic generation of income. But more and more it's just gonna be like trying to grow numbers at any cost. But no value is generated. You just have more numbers. Meta wants AI characters to fill up Facebook and Instagram kind of in the same way accounts do, but also had to delete a humiliating first run of its official bots. The dead internet theory is not true yet, but it sure seems like some people really want to get us there as quickly as possible. I mean, how it looks right now is that the ship will sink. It's only a question of whether you can get paid on the way. Why would marketing and companies want to pay anything to social media if a whole, not of the engagement will be even more AI? What am I missing? But ironically, they're the ones who are really pushing this AI stuff. I mean, this bot stuff, because I mean they need eyeballs, and I guess basically marketing companies will be competing with marketing companies. They have their own bots. They're like fighting over social media, and maybe like there's some bozos who's gonna be there who are real. But most are just bots trying to get attention to sell product. The AI will be the salesperson. All of these people pretend people are going to do is sell. One fake post of them playing with the fake dog, and the next is an ad for whatever their fake dog's favorite dog food is. Yeah, you will see this a lot. But ironically, one of the least salesy thing to engage with is AI, right? Or kind of like non-profits, I suppose. So if you go on Wikipedia, people are not really trying to sell you things. So it's a pretty good website for information. If there was a money incentive and it been tried in the past, it just didn't work, right? It was just a mess. Facebook became obvious AI garbage long ago. I don't even go there. It lost all of the feeling of connection with my friends. Okay. My wall has become one post from someone I personally know for every 5 or 6. There are ads and AI group suggestions. It's atrocious. I used to log in daily and engage. Now I log in once a month at most. If engagement is the point, it lost me. That's because all of these platforms basically get to the point where they can still keep the user, but try to exploit them as much as possible. Try to show you as many ads as possible. Try to show you... It's needless to enumerate. Basically, they want to make the maximum money off you, while still keep you. They don't want to chase you away. To further its mission of benefiting everyone, OpenAI will become fully for profit. And we need to double check that we're not on the onion. Housed are supposed to reach the most important milestone in AGI, generating $100 billion bucks. Field AGI, aggregated gross income. And certainly there are many cards in play here, but just known profits becoming for profit is not what you want to see. In fact, they're selling right now, so what's the point? They're definitely not a non-profit right now. Japan, accelerating toward extinction. Birth rate expert warns. That's very much on brand. We were never richer, but also the average Joe is not that well off. As the population shrinks, fewer workers will have to carry the working burden of supporting the elderly. I can just just burn their money, right? I mean, you have this old like fantasy points. You can just use that to, I don't know, maybe like as God or something. They will need to give up more and more of what they produce to care for the older generation. Yeah, the worse things get, the worse things get. That's pretty much it. So the less workers we have, the more the workers get squeezed, and the more the workers get squeezed, the less workers we will have. The only way this could potentially break if robots pick up the slack. Or the younger generation said to the older generation, fuck you, right? I don't care. What money? What property rights? Leaving less for themselves. This lack of resources combined with a grim view of the future makes it harder and less appealing to have children, creating a vicious cycle. Or they might decide, fuck the older generation, they fucked us over, so why should we care? Yeah, which terrifies them. Yeah, I mean, one is totally pointless. If I just said, like, I have 1 trillion magic points, right? And like, oh yeah, let's use it as money. You have no magic points, but let's use my magic points as currency. Also, I can just go grow my magic points and just make magic points. So yeah, it's a great system. And if you said you're in, then you're probably not that wise. Yes, the population is declining. Things are too expensive, horrible work culture. But it will never make the country extinct. I find this completely ridiculous. Yeah, but like, that's kind of nitpicking here. Like, yeah, sure, they won't be extinct, but they will be greatly reduced in numbers. Yeah, this sensationalist headline, if there ever were one, well, it might be extinct though, depending on how things turn out, right? Because he is kind of assuming that, oh yeah, we're just gonna significantly drop in numbers, and everyone is going to be super peaceful about it. But that may not be the case, especially the people who are like people are kind of wired to want to have kids or something like that. So you might see some kind of a ruckus way before. They need me. I can save them. Time to change my username once and for all. Mark is a virgin. Nice. Japanese leadership has to change the work culture, treatment of workers, mothers, as well as affect the cost of living, which they don't seem to motivated to do. Well, they have it good, so why? I hope all this saves. Why would I change that? So, it is what it is. Sometimes things need to get worse before they get better. AI was used to turn a teen's photo into, a different image. Now the teen is fighting for a change to protect other kids. Okay, but technically speaking, it's pretty much the same as you take her head. Essentially, AI is just taking her head and imagining how she might look like otherwise, right? That's it. So suppose I took like a cutout of some woman and I put her head on it. And now, would you say that this wronged her in any way? Because AI doesn't know, right? Supposing she had like a bunch of tattoos, then AI wouldn't know that either. It's just kind of guessing how you might look like, perhaps. This is very interesting to me because technically this kind of photo manipulation is something that was always possible via photoshopping, yeah. but you need to be really skilled at it to make it look realistic. It's not that. Okay, I don't think that. Just pick someone who has the same body type as her. Just put her head on her and bend the neck a little bit, I guess. Done. So it's not that like AI makes it possible to do, just easier, a lot more accessible. But it's not her. With that in mind, I'm really interested in what kind of restrictions can be put on that this doesn't also address photoshopping. Yeah. This is meaningless. It's not even photoshopping, right? You can just have a picture and put her head on the picture, and that's it. NVIDIA believes that robotics market is about to explode. Just like ChatGPT, the company is pivoting to powering humanoid robotics as AI chips experience stiffening competition. And this is where the regular Joe really starts to care, I think. Because sure, we can laugh about the artists and the software engineers and many others possibly losing their jobs. Well, some still have it, no doubt, but others are kind of like struggling. But the Metal Man shows up to take your possibly crap job, and you're just made irrelevant. You essentially go from, but I guess the average Joe probably is gonna go from really struggling, possibly can't even have a life, to can't even be alive, I guess. And your best case scenario would be you just beg for some scraps, right? Assuming you get it. Because this might be a case in like some countries, you might get some money, right? Almost certainly it's not going to be that much money, but let's say that you might get it, right? So best case scenario, you're going to be poverty retired with no hope. I see a lot of skepticism that robots today aren't perfect. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to cost less than a human. When every indication, I've seen that they are absolutely good enough to replace a lot of menial tasks in a lot of manufacturing, industry, real logistics situations. Yeah, you gotta also keep in mind that you might say that, oh yeah, there's still gonna be jobs. Yeah, maybe, but what if like most people cannot have jobs, right? In fact, the unemployment is pretty high even right now. Those seem like low-level risk, but people carrying boxes of things from one shelf to another shelf in the next room are still millions of jobs. There's no reason a robot produced at scale would cost more than a small car, and it seems extremely likely that it will scale up rapidly once it becomes clear that companies, they can spend a 30K annualized cost to replace an unreliable employee making 32 to 45. It's not just the cost though. Yeah, the unreliable part matters so much. Because you control these. Let's even suppose that you had to pay more for them. You also have to consider the liability of an employee. So yeah, you might have a guy who's like, let's say makes 45K. Or you can have a robot that works 24/7, right? And obeys you perfectly. Unless it like breaks down, it works perfectly. As exactly as you want it. In fact, it learns perfectly. You don't need to train it at all. Every single robot is as capable as any single robot can be. Okay? Once you make 10,000 of anything, you get a lot better at making them, meaning the next 100,000 is cheaper to make, and the next million after that is massively cheaper. Yeah. Now, even if this doesn't completely invalidate people, doesn't completely prevent them from getting a role, there's gonna be extreme competition. So forget other people or immigrants. Can you work for cheaper and more reliably than a robot? Naturally, the governments of the world will react to that and implement universal income and other measures to prevent the surge in unemployment and other linked unrest. Oh, wait, they won't? Yeah. Even if they will, whatever birth rate crisis we have right now, watch it tank. Some will, sure, but as I've been saying for 15 years, the US will be the very last country to do so. I don't think they will implement UBI, but basically people are in like full-on purge right now. The only way the government would attempt to go for UBI if the people are making an extreme ruckus, right? The only way it will happen if you say, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna make a ruckus until it's done. And if you don't, then most likely you're gonna die on the streets begging for bread. If even that. I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords and wish them many years of prosperity across their respective endeavors. Please remember when allocating UBI settlements to the meat puppets. Yeah. I feel like every news from Nvidia in the latest years is bad news for gamers. Huh? I just want to be able to afford rent and the GPU at the same time. Yeah, the problem is not really tech and robotics and AI here, but how we share things. Shrinking aging population makes South Korea a super aged society. A lot of news like this. All of the East Asian economic and technological powerhouses that developed ultra fast, they are contending with severe population decline. Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore. The economic machine is embedded in the society and shouldn't be considered as a separate entity. Yeah, who cares about that, man? We may have went extinct, but the profits were spectacular. At least in Singapore, it isn't too bad in my opinion, right? Just that we are essentially in the right-wing rise right now. Yeah. And as productivity drops a little, as fewer employees have the energy and the naivety of youth, no doubt business will respond by simply squeezing everyone even harder. Yeah. So this just gets worse. In a way, this is like the tragedy of the commons. And the workers are the commons. Huh? Everyone tries to squeeze the workers to get a value from them. Making having children even more challenging, no doubt any woman who dares to have a child will be tossed off her career track. Yeah. I can a little bit sympathize with women who are like, I just kind of want a guy who's like financially well off, right? Because if you're not going for that, then, I guess the plan B would be some guy who's like, kind of going there. And plan C, assuming that you personally cannot provide this, then yeah, probably it's going to be like no kids. Not much family. Have they tried cutting out sex ed and lowering the drinking age? Perfect. This guy's thinking. We don't need to improve the situation for people. We just need to make them dumber, right? Maybe we can just enforce it, right? Maybe they should try restricting birth control too. Yeah. And if they have abortion, you need to ban that too. And don't forget making a push with institutionalized religion. Yeah. And also, very important, you should be just blasting media with it, right? Just, I love the baby, man. I love it. I just like, baby, man. Baby. Also, the kids in the school should be learning to just have babies, right? It's important. It's very, very important. You don't need to improve things. You just need to tell the people to deal with it.